Hey, it's your professional sarcastic man and seeker of attention, Chris, here with reviews on Hex Wives #1 and What If Magik Became Sorcerer Supreme. Sorceress? I'm guessing just the title stays the same. Whatever, so we'll start off with Hex Wives, which is the start of DC Vertigo's new lineup of woke titles. I believe it is the first one. If I'm wrong, please let me know. So I'm just assuming it's the first one. So Hex Wives tells the tale of witches who are constantly being hunted down by the Patriarchy. The Architects, which is an all-male group that are fearful of the witches because of their power and believe they should be put down and stopped. So pretty much, if this book has a message, the message is patriarchy bad. It really is. I saw a interview, I think it was on Newsarama, and basically that's what the intention of the book is. This is going to show the terrible patriarchal society, and I'm like, oh boy, this is going to be something. But even knowing that, as usual, I go into a comic, no biases, just a clear head. Let's see how it works on its own. So what I will say is that I do like the art for the most part. The art is by Mirka Andolfo, who's known for the Unnatural series, which I believe Image is currently publishing, which I think is an English translation of it, because she's not English, I believe. And the coloring's by Marissa Louise. So the art and the coloring is probably the best parts of this comic. The story itself is not particularly that interesting. So the first half of this comic is just setting up all these witches constantly being resurrected and hunted down by the Architects, and that's basically just it until the later half of the book. Suddenly they're all housewives, and that's just it. And I don't know, it seemed like it could have had promise if the whole message thing wasn't rammed down everyone's throats, and it really seemed like it wanted to go somewhere, but it didn't with the first issue. Like I said, the first half is just setting up the constant witch hunts and them always defeating the quote unquote patriarchy, the Architects. But then it just time skips to another 3 years later, and they're just all randomly housewives, and they slightly portray that they still might have their witch powers. So, but overall, it wasn't particularly that interesting. So I'm not going to recommend Hex Wives. Like I said, the only thing I liked, 100% liked, was the art and the coloring. I got this cover because the standard cover is generic, and I know I talked about variants in a different one. This is the variant for it. This seemed more fitting for a cover. If I heard of something called Hex Wives and saw this and just that makes sense. She looks like an old kind of housewife. She has the witchcraft marks and shit, whatever, blah 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 blah. So yeah, but overall it wasn't interesting. I know there's gonna probably be payoff in the later issues, but I don't see myself wanting to read any more of this. It did seem like they want to be not really edgy, but there was kind of a bit of unnecessary swearing. Before I get into that, the olden days speak, it was really hard to try and read through that. It's just thou came for me, Isadora. I told thee I would, my love. Isadora, these goat knobbers again. Ye must be japping my ass. And it's just I have no idea what you're saying. What the hell is going on? But unnecessary, like a little bit of like unnecessary swearing, like the, oof. I'm sorry. I won't say it. I'll just say oof, or it's so oofed up, or keep oofing failing. It does seem like a little unnecessary. It's just like, oh, this is for mature readers. This is Vertigo's for mature readers. We've got to be mature. Anyway, like I said, art, coloring is good. Not an interesting start. Boring, in my opinion. So don't pick this up. You can pass on that, and it doesn't help the whole the patriarchy's bad message that they wanted to push with it. It's, Ben Blacker, the writer for this, wanted to push in promoting it. It's like it's going to be women fighting the patriarchy, and it's just like, oh boy, more politics that really doesn't need to be in comics. But anyway, on the better of the two, what if Magik became Sorcerer Supreme? So this is the last of the what ifs, since they only released them throughout all of October. Last of the what ifs. This is by Leah Williams. The art's by Philippe Andrade. Colorist Chris O'Halloran. Yada 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 yada. Starting off the art. Art is not my favorite. I didn't particularly like the art in this. It's kind of simple. So I didn't particularly like Philippe's art or Chris O'Halloran's coloring. It wasn't particularly the best looking art I've seen in this week's comics. So basically, in this one, it takes place when after Ilyana, Magik, escapes from hell, and she's older, and she was kind of hunted by the fear by her past that Belasco, the one who imprisoned her and kept her, would return. And it's just, what if this fear had driven her away from her friends and family in the New Mutants? What if Ilyana walked away? So I'm not particularly knowledgeable when it comes to X-Men and New Mutants. So I'm guessing she stayed with them, because this is a what if she actually left and found another path, which is she meets Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange senses what's happened to her, and he wants to help her properly train the power that she has, and he reveals it's because he wants to retire one day. He as he says, I'm the reigning Sorcerer Supreme of this world, and I'm tired. I want to retire. So let me finally put your mind at ease. I'm training you to be the next Sorcerer Supreme. No, it is not a gift. It is a sentence. Yada, yada, yada. It was okay for the most part. I didn't particularly have any problems with it. But the whole, her becoming Sorcerer Supreme doesn't happen till, the last panel on the last page. So it's an okay what if. It's still better than Ghost Rider. The Ghost Rider one was terrible. It's still the worst. So if ranking these what ifs so far, tied for first, the Spider-Man and the Punisher one, those were both good in my opinion, both equally good. So they're both at first place. Second, I'd put the Thor. Third, I'd put X-Men. Fourth, I'd put this one, Magik. And then down last is Ghost Rider, the worst of all of them. So pretty much it ranks from very good to slightly good, okay, and then Ghost Rider. So that's it for these two. Don't pick up Hex Wives. It's not interesting, quite boring. Art's the only good thing about it. What if Magik? It's not really something I'd recommend. If you want to pick it up, pick it up. It was an okay story, in my opinion, but that's just me. So that's it for those two. Spooky and magic-filled one for Halloween. Although, of filming this, it is November 1st in Australia, so I missed out. But November 1st will still be October 31st for those in the States and whatever. So that's it for this review. See you all in the next one.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.